up here in the box, plus some frames of honey and some ginger frames. I don't know if y'all saw any of those. Right here.
Somebody got the right idea. I'm going to sneak out this way.
You know what this is all about.
As long as he doesn't miss a smoker, I'm in good shape.
I'm not going to talk in this. I might scare you. Let's get there. She worked. It took me a little while.
Anybody who does not yet have
No
their
smoke,
raffle ticket needs to raise their hands up. Tiffany can come around. And here, lots of volunteers. Yes. Tiffany is Bruce and Dottie's daughter.
My wife is in here somewhere.
Okay, so now we know the ladies in fall fashion. It's lovely with you. Okay, so welcome. Oh,
Spider wife.
Tiffany, there's still some people with their hands up. Oh,
I'm sorry, sir. My brother wants to sit by. Jack just walked in.
Jack, would you rather sit on the end and I'll move somewhere else?
Yeah, kind of, but you don't have to move.
I'll move here.
Too close to us.
What?
You're too close to us.
I know smell like
I'll go sit here.
Somebody needs to record it.
Who?
You have one for each cheek. There you go, boy. Not like that, right?
I saw that. That was still on time.
Living brother and
And how they make their beginnings.
That's what I said earlier. God, I'm like,
he's a libertarian, but he's not
yeah, now this way.
we'll continue doing this. Giving out the raffle tickets, but let's get started. So welcome to the 8th of our Hidden Gems this season. And normally, this would be the last one, but we have a bonus Hidden Gem scheduled for September 13th. That's a Sunday afternoon, 4:30, when Bruce Carroll will present his artificial intelligence assisted film. I mean, it's really quite a technological thing. It's really fabulous. And it's about the Cache area history, including slavery and the Trail of Tears, the Civil War, construction, and like I said, it's all, you'll see the portraits of these people come to life and start speaking. So it's really quite something. And now for this afternoon's featured event, we have a twofer. We have Taylor and Dottie Bruce. As the former club president, you know that Taylor, he pretty much needs no introduction, though as he reminds me, during his tenure here as president, every time he would take the stage, it would be to ask you to dig down deep and give him a big check, either in the form of an assessment or higher dues, which we all love. So he assures me there's no surprises. The October surprise was the outfit. Instead, we're going to lead off with Dottie, who we will learn little known but amazing bee facts. And then Dottie will be followed by Bruce, who will tell all he knows about the bee business, the birds and the bees, or the birds is Dottie's part, and you're going to including running the apiary, hives, smokers, harvesting, extracting, bottling, and as a treat, he has the both the lottery and taste samples for us. And this is a rare premium single origin honey harvested with the nectar of the sourwood tree, which is native to our area here in the southern Appalachian Mountains, and it's blooming right now, mid-July through August. So we have the bees have been working hard for us. And first of all, Dottie. Thank you.
That's a big crowd. Thank you for coming. It's great to see so many happy people that I know and love. So, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy today's presentation. Taylor and I just started this 3 years ago. And so it's amazing what Taylor, as the beekeeper, has learned and done with our friendly little insects that are up here on our plateau. So anyway, I want to start off a little bit by just saying our bees are in danger. So anything, I'll talk a little bit about that before I get, and when I get to the amazing facts, I hope I see your mouths drop open like mine did. When I started learning about bees, I started going on the internet and YouTube and reading books, and that's how we both learned to be beekeepers. And so I'm the bottler, and I'm the labeler, and Taylor's the beekeeper. So anyway, we'll get started a little bit. I wrote a couple of notes here because I just thought this is gets to the heart of the matter. You wake up one morning and the world is a little more gray, and it's kind of strangely empty. The flowers are fewer, the fruit trees lie barren, and the colors of the gardens are fading. Farms are beginning to fail. Putting food on our plates becomes harder and scarcer with every passing season. The balance of nature begins to shift because of one small absence, and that's the bee. And I had a little thing that I wanted to read to you because this is just amazing. I'm worried about our bees. This is from the Earthwatch Institute, and it says, bees have been declared the most important living species on Earth by Earthwatch Institute and other organizations because they are essential for the biodiversity and the food security of all in our country and in our world. They pollinate 70% of the crops that feed 90% of the global population. And their extinction would cause a catastrophic collapse in ecosystems and our food supply. That's kind of frightening. But the fun part, when I was learning about bees, I kept reading and finding more things, and I thought, this is unbelievable. These little tiny creatures, and if you haven't had a chance, we brought some of our little bees with us. And we have how many now? Bees?
11 hives and 300,000.
300,000 bees are our little friends. We are trying our best to keep them alive and preserve beekeeping. We did go down and we bought some hives and bees before. I was just so heartened when I went down to Travelers Rest to the bee supply place there, and there were so many people like us who were coming to get their hives of bees. And that was wonderful, because then I knew that people are there and they're caring and they do want to save our bees. So let me go over a couple of facts. This is by far not all of them, but these are some that I want you to just go, oh my gosh. So a honeybee, a little honeybee, can fly up to 15 to 20 miles per hour. A pound of honey is made by a bee or bees visiting 2 million flowers for a pound of honey. A honeybee, just one honeybee, will visit 50 to 100 flowers in one trip. Honeybees beat their wings about 11,500 times a minute, and this counts for the buzzing sound that you hear. An average beehive has about 50 to 60,000 bees. We brought a few of our friends with us up here. Together they act kind of like a superorganism, capable of just incredible feats of engineering and agriculture. The honeybee is the only insect that produces food for humans. And because of the low moisture content of honey, it never spoils. Now, honeybees, because it doesn't spoil, honey was found in the tomb of King Tut, and it was edible. I don't know who they got to taste it. I don't think I would have volunteered for that. Honey is also full of a variety of vitamins, essential minerals, and antioxidants and amino acids. I take a spoonful every morning, and I take a spoonful of local honey every night to help with sleep at night, to help relax. They've done studies on that. And also in the morning, local honey is also supposed to help with allergies, if you have allergies. So a honeybee lives only about 6 to 8 weeks in the summertime, and they can live about 6 months in the wintertime because they're not active. The queen bee lives about 5 years. She has attendant worker bees because she is the queen. And they feed her and they groom her. And she is busy after one bout with a drone male. After one bout, she lays 1,500 to 2,000 eggs a day. I knew that would be good. Now, if there's a problem with her and she's not producing like she should, the worker bees, who are all females, Taylor will tell you a little bit about the people in the hive, because the women do all the work, the men just do one thing. So the bees, whenever they need a new queen, they go around and they feed, all the hives get something called royal jelly that they make. And they feed they pick out certain, one of the larvae, and they feed them royal jelly. And they continue on feeding all the queen possibilities royal jelly until one of the queen hatches. When she hatches, the first one wins, because she then goes around and kills every one of the others. And if two emerge at the same time, they fight to the death. That's why she's called the queen bee. Anyway, I just want to let you know how strongly I believe in trying to save our bees. This is something I found called the ripple effect. And it says, despite their importance, bee populations around the world are under serious threat. Habitat loss, pesticide use, and climate change are just some of the reasons that are making surviving of our bees, the ones that are both wild bees and the ones that are managed bees like beekeepers. In the U.S., in the latest poll of beekeepers around the world, they have found that roughly 30% to 50% of the colonies were lost in the year 2025. So when flowers disappear, bees lose food. When chemicals are spread, bees lose their life. And when ecosystems shrink, bees lose their home. And when bees disappear, the consequences ripple far and wide. So now the beekeeper will talk to you.
Well, I'm gonna try to be a little happier. Got 300,000 bees, and several of them stung me last week. It's kind of a regular occurrence. So anyway, we're beekeepers, and the hardest part about being a beekeeper, and I'll show you some stuff here, but was putting this slide together. So I'll holler if you can't hear me. You probably can. So Dottie gave some statistics about the queen. I'll just do this up here, but when she mates, she goes on one mating flight, and she finds, well, the males find her, and the males find her because they got big eyes, so they can see females. And as she said, that's all the drone is there for. The queen can't feed herself. She has to have attendants. I'm not sure what's causing that.
I think it's the other microphone.
I think it's put it up here. Can you hear me okay there?
Yeah.
Dottie's already talked about killing other bees and everything, so. This is just a couple of pictures of bees. And this is something I want to talk to you about. Due to a little old lady sitting right here in front of me, Christine Gaddis. She's on the board, but Christine got a bunch of us together that are beekeepers here at CCSB in the community, and formed a little group called Sapphire Valley Beekeepers. So they're here today. Christine, you want to have this beekeeper stand up. Christine, Ed Turner, Jose Avila, David Jones, I don't know if David Jones. Now, Rosemary, you're a beekeeper, but you're not, she's a past beekeeper. So, it's a lot of activity about these, and you're hearing more and more about them, so I'm sure y'all have seen it on TV. sure we're all getting a lot of information. Well, here for us, this is my first little suit, my first little beehives. We started in 2024, April 1st actually. And so everybody asked me, well, why did you get into this? Well, I'm not sure to this day why. Two of my friends, local guys, some of you know, is a little guy lives down in Whiteside Cove named Marshall Clark. Anybody know Marshall? Quite a character, to say the least. So he and another guy named Mr. Wright said, you know, you just don't do this, it's easy, and they were just lying. So, and they said, well, we'll lend you the equipment and all this stuff, and they're lying. And finally, one day he said, well, we're going down this Saturday to pick up some bee packages, and so I'll pick you up too. So that's how it all started. So I got into a panic and I didn't have a box, didn't have anything. So I started getting everything together. We started with 2 packages, they call them, and put them in the boxes. After a week, one of them absconded. That's called leaving. We either didn't have the right environment, house, whatever, but ended up getting some more hives. So it's a little note here. The first year, I'll talk more about it, but we made actually 2 gallons of honey. The first year we had it, that was basically 2 hives. This is the picture actually in year 2 where we've gone to Travelers Rest, what place down there, Carolina Honeybee Company. And these are packages of bees. On the left, you buy them in a package and it's got a queen in there and queen's separate. And then, because they put the bees in there and put the queen in there, and then you have to take them home and you put them in a box, a bee box, and you have to introduce the queen in there because the queen and the bees don't know each other when they first get together. So you have to leave them in there in a little box, and there's a box that's got some sugar, hardened sugar in it. You have to open up one end, and the bees eat their way through the sugar to get to the queen after like 3 or 4 days. And hopefully they fall in love during that period. If they don't, you have to find you another queen. This is Dottie with some supplies on the right, and then there's and the box on the right side of that was a trailer. When we picked up these 2 packages of bees, the guy was selling them. He had a trailer that had 450 boxes of bees he was selling them. And it was the 3rd time in, I think that month, he had sold that many. $150 for a box or a package of bees. There's another, I'll think of it. Well, actually, there's this picture right here. The bottom part is a box called a nuke. And those beekeepers know what nukes are, but nukes are where the person selling bees have put a box together and put frames in it, and actually has previously introduced the queen with the bees, and they've been together for a period of time, usually a couple of months. And the queen's already started laying eggs, and they've got what they call brood, which is babies in there, got honey in there, and so they get along. So when you get a nuke, it's more successful, chance of success in putting into a hive. So in this case right here, the hive is on the top, and the nuke is below. So I've taken and transferred the frames into the hive, and then we dump all the bees in there. Then you put the little box out in front, and whatever's left, the bees will march up to the hive and go in it. You hope. This is a picture of our son-in-law, Josh Bagwell, right here. He does a lot of fancy woodwork, and he made a sign for us right here a couple years ago, Smoke Rise Beehive. And behind it is a picture of the first beehive. I'll show you some more pictures here, you'll see. This is the close-up picture. And if you'll notice, it's got a fence around it. Guess what that's around? We've got these characters up here called bears.
Yeah, for sure.
You would think the bear is going to eat the honey, and they do, but the biggest thing the bear is after is the bees and the larvae. the bees. It's got protein, it's protein. But this is a little electric fence. We tried to make it kind of natural looking with black locust posts, and it's the thing in front, which I think is this next picture right here. This is another picture of, this is the wire, the red line, red thing there is, it's positive, and I've got some negative ones on there. But this is a, electric fence charger, and so it's solar operated, it electrifies it, and I don't know if any of y'all are familiar with electric fence, they kind of click, so they're not on constantly. So if you grab it, it'll knock you down instead of electrocute.
Yeah.
It's not really that bad.
Yeah, that's positive.
You will know you touched it if you grab it. All right, so this is a couple of pictures. The one on the left is me with my suit on. I went from the first one I had was just a hat to a suit. I found out the bees could get into the little hat. That wasn't fun, so with a suit, generally won't get into your upper level body. I just wear one from the waist up, and if you have gloves on, generally they won't get to you to sting you. This is where I was actually treating the bees for the bees get a insect called a mite, called varroa mite, that can damage the hive and kill the hive, and so you have to treat for it and not treat with a thing called oxalic acid, which vaporizes a gas and puts in there, so I have to wear a gas mask when I'm doing it. The middle pictures, this one's bees were paying me a visit. Anybody here allergic to bees? Yellow jacket, I'm allergic to a yellow jacket too. Bee, I'm not, it's okay. And the third picture there is just me up in the apiary there. Glad I wasn't stung at that time. This is a little picture here. This is Dottie's the creative side of the family. I'm the worker bee. And we made a thing called the smoke rise apiary, a sign, when Josh made it. And then just show you there, and we've had the house now for 3 years. We started in 24. In 2024, we had 2 hives. We ended up making 2 gallons of honey. And it's not like a mathematical equation that you get 2 hives, you get so much honey. It's a lot of things that goes on in the hive and how successful they are and stuff. But anyway, we were glad we got 2 gallons actually. And then in 2025, we had 4 hives, and we made 10 gallons. We actually, at one period of time, we had 6, and then some on the way, and then it kind of varies. So this year, 2026, we started with, I think, 4 hives going into the spring. And then we added some packages, we added some nukes, so we ended up with 8. And they were very successful. We fed them well, treated them well, didn't kill them. And they actually have produced, as of this past week, we've been extracting 30 gallons of honey. So I think we said at the start, we do have samples up here. For those of you that did get samples, please come up and get one later on.
That's why I had to stop.
And Susan, if I run over, I hadn't timed this thing, so,
Keep going, nobody's complaining yet.
All right, here's actually a picture from this year. You can see you walking back there somewhere, but there's an apiary, we actually doubled the size of it. I set it up where you could walk around every box and get to them. Because these boxes of honey, I don't know if y'all saw, this is a box up here, and it holds 9 hives, 9 frames. And you can go out here, there's some empty ones, and they're just real light. And then there's a couple in here that are full of honey, and they weigh several pounds, weighs like 70 pounds.
Wow.
In the big boxes, I'll show you some pictures there. There's some big boxes we call hive bodies. They're a lot heavier than the others. So it's, way heavier. This is, me in a picture that I was inspecting some frames. Let's see if this video will work. And you have to do this, every so often to see what's going on. I mean, things can happen in the hive. The queen can leave, the queen can die. It's a lot of different things, so you have to kind of watch. You don't have to be in there every day or every week, but every couple of weeks you need to kind of look at it and see what's going on. Make sure I don't lose track of what I'm supposed to say. All right, so this is a frame that's this part down here is what the bees have made wax. When you have a frame, you actually have a foundation on the frame that's got the little hexagon-shaped cells. And the bees build the cell out with that hexagon shape. And the picture with the darker tone is actually, that's honey that's in the cell. It's right in here. It's been capped over. It's the bees, once the honey is, they make honey out of nectar and pollen, and they regurgitate it actually, and put it into the cell. And they, once it gets in there and they fill the cell up, they'll fan the whole frame. The bees will be going around just fanning it with their wings. And they create air movement, which reduces the moisture in the honey, and it gets it down where when it gets to about 18% or lower, they'll cap it over with one of those caps. If it's not at that level, generally they won't cap it over. It'll just be an open cell like these are right here, and you can be able to see the honey in there, the liquid in there. This is a frame which we had extracted, and we have cut the cones off. Well, this one actually right before we extracted. You can see the kind of shiny part. That's actually honey getting ready to go to an extractor. Got this picture in here, the hive. I know we take it for granted, but not everybody knows about this. Every bee colony is in one hive, a little white box. That's typically, people have different color ones. But one colony is in a box. There's one queen in a box. If you put two queens in there, one of them's gonna leave, get killed or get run out. In this picture, I don't know if you can tell, but the bottom box is called a hive body. It's much larger, it's about almost twice as big as the bottom, the one above it. That's where the bees are actually raised, and they raise the brood of baby bees. And that's where the queen lives, in the bottom box, called a hive body. The box above it is a smaller box, and we call it a super. And it's actually where the bees build the honey that the bees will live off of. And that's where if you take honey from the bees, you take it out of the super. I didn't know what a super was 3 years ago, so. The green box in this picture is actually was actually called a swarm box, where you can make a box and to try to catch a swarm. And we caught one, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Each one of these boxes has 9 frames in it, and can hold 10, but you can really put 9 in it, so you'll have more, honey frames will be bigger, the cells will be bigger. And the number of bees in one of these boxes can range from 10,000 to 50,000. And it depends on how healthy they are, the time of year, and that type of thing. The bees in the wintertime dwindle a lot. The size of the hive will go half of what it is during the summer. I'll talk a little bit more about that. This talked about, is 9 frames. Inside the hive, there's 9 frames. There's bees, there's honey, there's brood, there's pollen, all the food that's required for them to live. This is the picture of this year of the hives, the apiary, and you'll see some of the boxes are taller than the others. And what it is in this particular shot, some of the hives are stronger than others. Some of the queens are stronger. Some of the queens produce better babies or brood, and so they produce more bees, and then more bees produces more honey. And so you add the boxes on top as the hive gets real busy. So if you don't do that, the queen will, in the colony, not the queen, but the colony will say, this place is too crowded. And we're gonna leave. And that's called a swarm. And when they do that, about half the bees, or 40 to 60%, somewhere in there, just decide the queen's gonna leave and then we're going with her. And then the rest of them stay and make a new queen. It's real interesting dynamics in a colony. This is another picture of this hives and bees in the front. This is a typical day. The bees love it when it's a day like today, sunny, warm. They'll be out everywhere. Cold, wet, windy day, they're not. They stay in. And if it's below, Dottie was talking about slowing down in the wintertime, if it's below 45 degrees, 50 to 45 degrees, they don't come out at all. So in the wintertime, they pretty much stay in until we have a warm day, then they go out and take a peek run. That's actually true. They gotta go out and relieve themselves sometime. Every couple of weeks in the winter times. That's what it's gotta do.
What happens if it gets really cold?
Well, in the wintertime, when it's really cold, actually when it's below 45 degrees, 45 degrees, the bees stay in the hive, in the bottom part with that hive body, and they actually get in a ball. The bees gather up in a kind of ball in there. I mean, there's frames in there, but and the queen is in the middle. And the bees vibrate their wings and create heat. And they keep the hive, it's hotter in the middle than it is on the outside, but they keep the inside of the hive about 95 degrees. 95 degrees. The outside would be cooler, but it doesn't generally go below like 80 degrees. And if it gets too cold, the bees will freeze. If they get wet, they'll freeze. So you have to be very careful with bees in the wintertime, particularly up here. Yeah, I'll show a picture of it. We actually wrap our hives with a insulator wrap. I'll show a picture of that in a few minutes, because up here, you know, those of you who live up there full time, those get down to 2 degrees, it gets real cold, so it'll kill a bee pretty quickly. And I think I actually got a little video right here. This is the front of the hive. I've got a little thing on the front of the hive. It's called robbing screen. It's prevent the bees from robbing each other, and I'll talk more about that. This is the picture of them flying in and out of the hives. And it's like this from daylight break till dark. This is the picture from the back of the apiary, looking down towards the house, and I put this in here because bees are kind of like people flying a plane. They like a landing strip, and they like to be able to take off. So you want them facing, bees are kind of strange about this, you want them facing south or southwest, and you want to open run in front of them. So the bees come out of the hive and they can shoot to the sky. And somebody was asking me the other day, said, well, I guess you've got bees all around your house. Well, we got more than we used to have, because we've got, but they don't hang around the house. They leave and go out to find something to eat. The they're looking for something to eat, they're not looking to come around the house. We don't have enough flowers for 300,000 bees.
How far do they travel? Look at
They'll travel, up to 5 miles from the hive. And if there's food that's closer, they won't go that far. They'll like everybody, they'll go with the quickest food they can get to. But, like a 5-mile radius, and, they'll go out and they'll feed till they're full, all they can carry. Either have food in their gut, or they have pollen on their legs. And you'll see some pictures of the pollen in a few minutes, and they can't carry it so much. And then they bring that to the hive, back to the hive. And the foragers, they're the ones who go out and get food. They bring it back to the hive, and they transfer it when they come into the hive to the hive, the worker bees in the hive. They don't actually take it and put it in the cells and stuff. They transfer it to another bee who does that. And the forager turns back around, takes back off, goes out looking for it. Bees don't attack you. I mean, I can walk around this apiary all day long, and they won't attack me. Now, one might just run into me on the mistake, and that happens sometimes. But if I go in there and open one of these boxes up, and I start lifting out the frames, it's, tens of thousands of bees. So you're gonna pinch them. If you don't have gloves on and you pinch them, they're gonna sting you. Interesting thing about the bee too, about a stinger. All you people that raise bees know this, but a honeybee has a barb on its stinger. It's barbed. So if it stings you and then it pulls away, you brush it off, or it pulls away, it pulls the guts out of the bee. It kills the bee. And the barb stays in you, and if you leave it there, it'll get more and more irritated. So if it gets stung, first thing you need to do is push that barb off, because it's got venom in it. And if you leave it in you and you're around the hive, the other bees sense that you've been stung, because the pheromone comes off that stinger, and other bees will come to it. Want to give you a little bit more of that. So I've experienced that several times.
Do you use smoke when you're
Smoke,
dealing
yeah, I'm
with
gonna talk about smoke. I actually got a smoker right up here, but I thought about bringing the smoke and smoking it up here, but I'll probably set off some of this. That's a smoker right there. The smoker is that's another thing, one of the hardest things about beekeeping is learning how to get that smoker running and let it run for an hour. And they usually get started, but keeping them running for an hour is difficult. I put pine needles and burlap and different things into the running. But the other thing about the stinger, the queen, Dottie was talking about the queen killing other bees. Oh, we're running out of time. Anyway, the queen doesn't have barbs on her stinger. So she can go around and sting as many things as she wants to. Let's see. All right, this is another little video. This is the apiary. The first year was 4 hives, and I put a wrap on them to keep them warm in the winter. You what? Oh, no, these are, no, that's just the insulation of the cover on it. Now this is a smoker. It's got a bellows in the back of it. And what the smoke does, it just calms the bee down. When you go into a hive, you put a little smoke on them, they kind of go down into the hive and they just kind of calm down. When they calm down, said you won't jump all over you. They don't like the smoke, and it just makes them go into the hive, and they get a little bit disoriented. This is some pictures of hives. bees, you can see there's a lot of them. This is a bee, this is a lighthouse. Where'd it go? All right, this is a bee that came in, it's got pollen on its legs. You can see this right here? And so they get pollen all over them, and they take their little arms and they push it back and make little balls. And when you, and then you, goes in the hive, you can see it, and a lot of it goes and they put it in cells inside the hive, but sometimes it drops off. You can actually put a pollen catcher on the front of the hive, and people sell pollen all the time that you mix into your coffee or whatever. It's supposed to be an antioxidant type thing, so it doesn't really have any taste to it. This is just a picture of some more bees. This was in summer, and they were really busy. This is a swarm box. This is the one I call a swarm. I actually caught it my neighbor's Morans right here. Put it up at their house, and the bees left our place and stayed up in the tree for 3 or 4 days. They went up their house and stayed there a couple of days, and then I went and got them and brought them back home. This is a picture of them in a tree. You've ever seen a swarm before. But they get together and just get the ball around the queen. And then they all decide to leave one day, and wherever the queen goes, they go with her. If you ever see a swarm, sometimes you'll see a lot of bees around your house. When they're swarming, there's a whole lot more than a lot of bees. There's thousands of bees. This is a picture of some food. The sourwood tree. This is the one on the left is the bloom of the sourwood. The ones on the right are the sourwood trees. Probably every one of you got them around your house. The second picture is a tulip poplar tree. I know everybody's got poplar trees too. In the springtime in May, that bloom right there will put out an ounce of nectar. So the bees really love that. This is a honey extractor where we extract the honey. Another picture of it. This thing spins the honey, and it actually throws it out like a centrifuge, and then it collects at the bottom. This is me cutting off some of the top of the caps of the honey. You have to cut the cap off so the honey will come out. It's called decapping. And I've got a hot knife. And you can see the honey hat shining there when it's done. We've got filters that goes through on the extractor that take all the wax out and bee parts. This is the machine holds 3 large frames or 9 small ones. And so, like I said, centrifuge, and we put it in here, and this is it running. We run it for about 15 minutes, and it throws out all the honey. You can see the honey coming out the bottom right here, going into a filter system, and then going into a bucket.
Do you own this equipment, or is this like commercial and you just rent it from them?
It's commercial that I bought. Well, here again, people that are beekeepers would understand this. So when I was getting into it, they read up about getting an extractor, and they got these hand crank extractors. And I said, well, they were like $300. That's why we don't get it. And then I said, well, you know, we're gonna be doing this, it might get bigger. And I looked at this machine that's got a big motor on it, it'll spin 360 RPMs, and it costs $900. I said, I think I need that machine. That was a good idea.
If you vacation and go away from these for a while,
Did we go back there a while?
can you go vacation like for 3
Oh, yeah, you can leave them. You can leave them 4 months. You probably leave them in the wintertime, you leave them for 6 months. So it's you don't have to baby them all the time. I do. they're about as here to that wall from the front of my house, so.
He sings.
All right, this is the, guess who this is? Christine Gaddis. She's, came down in the middle of extraction and decapping. And how about these folks? Ed Turner, Jim Davis. Jim here? He's the man. And who's this other guy on the right? Is Sam Gaddis here? And me in the middle there, so that's what we were working on the frame set. All right, this is a picture of my bottler. All right, and then the queen is bottling, right? All right, so this is a picture of Dottie bottling. Bottling means that this is, once you've actually decapped it and extracted it, it's in a 5-gallon bucket. It's got a little gate on it. You basically open the gate up, fill the jar, and just repeat that.
It's really high tech. I'm not knocking it, I'm just saying.
So it doesn't sound like much to you do about 100 of these. All right. So this is the process here. We basically have learned. You learn a lot of things, make a lot of mistakes along the way, but we basically bonded in 3 different sizes. We're doing a 12-ounce little bear, we up there 16-ounce pint and a 32-ounce quart. And somebody asked me about honey sales, so we haven't sold any honey as of yet. So I've told everybody they couldn't afford our honey. We couldn't put $1 on it, so we gave it away. But we made enough this year, we're probably gonna sell something, so we do have a limited amount. So that's the pricing. But interesting thing about honey, I bet a lot of you don't know, honey weighs 50% more than water on an ounce by ounce basis. So a gallon of water weighs 8 pounds. A gallon of honey weighs 12 pounds. If you pick up a 5-gallon bucket of it, you understand that. Pretty heavy. Okay, this was stuff we put in there. Dottie's already talked about that. The bee only lives 40 days, 40 to 50, depending on the time of year. Pollinates 150,000 flowers and makes less than spoonful of honey. And a lot of people say it's a 12th of a spoonful. I'm not sure what it is today. For you, it's a spoon of honey. For a bee, it's a whole bunch. So, very important. So respect the little fellows. So I'm gonna show you a couple other things. We got the time here, Steve?
Keep going.
Okay.
If anybody wants to leave, they can, but.
Ray Barnes, you're on top of the list. All right, this is a picture of a queen in relationship to other bees. The queen is longer, bigger. When she's in the hive, if she gets ready to, interesting that, but if they decide to swarm, the queen will they'll stop feeding her. She'll lose weight. Her wings will go longer so she can fly, because typically she can't fly when she's laying eggs. So she'll slim down and she can fly. All right, this is a real interesting thing. So, I don't know if any of y'all know, but in California, they have this big thing called the almond crop. All of us eat almonds. And you think about an almond, how big it is, and you eat them, you eat 10 at a time. But on a tree, every almond is a bloom. So on an almond tree, there's thousands and tens of thousands of those. And in California, the biggest crop in America is the almond crop. And the picture in the center is rows of almond trees in a field. And there's tens of millions of almond trees. The ones on the right is just a tree with bloom. One on the left is boxes. They're actually, I don't think I can zoom in on it, but actually each one of these is a pallet with 4 hives on it. And beekeepers who are commercial beekeepers all over the country transport bees to California in spring for the almond crop. And they transport 1.2 million hives to California. And they actually transport bees all over the country for the apple crop, California, the apple crop here in North Carolina, the orange crop in Florida. So they transport bees all over the country.
Do they do that in the tractor trailer?
Yeah.
And tractor trailers, they load the tractor trailer up and pack it with beehives and they cover it with like a net. And then it's all over the country. And they charge the farmer a monthly fee for the bees. The beekeeper gets the honey, but the farmer uses it just for pollination. So this is a picture in a hive of the bees decided to make a queen cell, and it looks like a peanut. And you can see the other cells here. They're regular bee cells. The peanut is a special made cell for a queen. And they pick out, Dottie was talking about, they pick out one egg that's been laid, and they, comes in the longer, they start feeding it royal jelly. And probably think that's crazy, but they make stuff called royal jelly. And they feed every young baby in there royal jelly for a day. I'm sure it varies from a day or two, whatever. The queen gets fed royal jelly from the time she can eat to the time she's born. And she comes out bigger, and she comes out, and she's a female. What they 99% of the bees in a hive are female. So 1% drones that have one purpose in life. Fly around and fire a queen. Another thing about a drone, this is, like I said, the drone's not worth much other than finding a queen and fertilizing it. But at the end of the summer, because drones don't do anything in the hive, they don't manage anything, they don't do anything, they don't go forage. All they do is eat and have sex. They have sex one time and they die. At the end of the summer season, and there's no food to eat, and the bees really have got to survive over the winter with what honey is stored in the hive. So starting right about now towards the end of the year until October, the rest of the bees will escort the drones, males, out the front door and kick them out and won't let them back in because all they do is eat. They don't do anything else. Interesting statistic. All right, let's see. This is interesting. Worker bees, like I said, 95 to 98% of the colony. Drones are 2 to 5%. You can see right here, mate with the queen, do not work. The numbers drop significantly in winter, called zeros. And the queen lays the eggs we talked about. Let's see. Oh, this is right here. So this is a picture of the winter cluster. Inside the hive, the bees will keep the hive warm to keep the queen alive. She doesn't lay any eggs until she starts laying eggs, and it depends on where you live. If you live in Florida, it's different. Ed Turner's a Florida guy with bees down there, and his cycle is different than is up here. Up here, the queen doesn't get active till March, because start really in November, March, the queen doesn't lay any eggs. She starts back in the cycle. And like I said, bees vibrate to keep the hive warm. All right, that's pretty much it. Yeah, but somebody might want to leave, they might want to miss it right here.
Yeah, what do you do with the wax?
Do with the what?
The wax.
Okay, the wax, when you cut the top of the comb off, it's wax there, and you put it in a little container, I call it decaf tank, and actually it's got a place full of what, because it's honey on that wax, so it drains out into a tank, and you can recover that. The wax there, and then later on, you have wax that comes off the hive, the frame itself. You can melt that wax down and strain it with a strainer, and actually make wax that goes into beeswax candles. Now, what I do with it, I haven't got to make a candle. I take and melt the wax, and then take, when you have a new hive or a new box, you want that to smell like bees or old bees. So you take the wax and paint the frames, or paint the old box in the inside, not the outside. So, let's do this drawing first. Anybody want to pick? I think we got this 4 little bottles up here. The first one is, it's either, I'm not sure which way it is. I think it's 98.
I'm 99.
Maybe it's 86. Louis Freeman. All right. Maybe this one won't be so complicated. I don't think so. One. See that on exclamation point.
You're a real good thinker.
All right. All right, this is another one. 26. All right, that's one. These numbers are 11. All right, got one more. 103. Did you rock it?
Warren.
Warren.
My wife took the bottle we have to Augusta, and I don't have any, and I just need some.
103, fun?
103.
All right. Someone got it?
Warren.
Maury, okay. Okay, Maury. It's coming.
Taylor, I have a question.
What? Okay, questions?
What is about the hexagon?
Stand up. Sam, did you get any,
Yeah, I got some when I was there. We did our 5 gallons.
It's structurally the best
I
shape
harvested some
of
from
the
my
house.
house maybe 20 years ago.
From an
when I
engineer would tell you
stood
the hexagon shape
I'm still
with
eating
the frame.
Really?
will hold the
20
frame
years?
without
20-year-old
collapsing, and
honey.
sometimes if you, the house in the peak.
His is really good. Hopefully we'll have honey someday, but it's all up to Christine.
The hexagon is the best for that. In the bee, there's a little piece of comb up here that bees made, and it's a perfect hexagon. It didn't have one to start with, they make it in the hexagon, but it's provide them a little box frame to start with, or not, it's in the hexagon.
We talk about eating local honey for like allergies and things. What's the radius of local? I mean,
I really don't know that, but I would imagine in the, I would say up here would be in the mountain city versus being on the coast or whatever.
so if I drive home to Tennessee, this is, I need something made there. Yes.
I would say so, because I think it depends on the time of the year, different flowers bloom at different times of the year, so the quantities and qualities that's gonna help you with allergies is based on the flowers and the trees and when they bloom. So that's what the local honey is, in the area and the type. Can't tell
You can feel it telling Kitty about Hemingway.
All of those things. Next year. That's the next step. Thank you so much.
They're still members where they are, they play golf where they are.
No, but that's okay. Here just to visit.
Josh, yeah, nice to meet you.
Sydney. Yes, this was great. You told me there were a couple of sponsors for deals that came in. Yes, there's something that I'll be touching. That'd be fine. Share what they share, so that's what you when I was on the board, they came up.
Let them know I told you that, but you need to make that happen.
Come up here more and more. Yes.
I should have taken advantage.
That's who you're doing. But he doesn't actually belong. Good luck with those bees.
They're on God's graces right now. You know, so I lived them for 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
They probably love your house though, but.
Yes, I really
And then I'll set it
sons, but it's just the best things I ever thought I should do.
I see you.
Wear out Jesse.
Yeah. Yeah.
One page that says, here's your plan. You won't do it on track. It was fun. Great office.
We don't have to do anything